Earlier on Thursday, we had the Summer Game Fest. I watched it all live for the 2 hours it was, and, it wasn't bad. Obviously, it was a lot better than the PlayStation Showcase. I do wish they revealed more new games, but, I'm satisfied. I did get some cool stuff out of this, and I'm sure you did too if you were paying attention. So, just like the PlayStation Showcase, here are some announcements that I thought were very intriguing. Let's talk about them. So why don't we start with an iconic franchise, Sonic. So Sonic has been very interesting lately. With the release of Sonic Frontiers, people thought this game was going to be a flop. But it turns out that it is a lot of fun. So now, they are coming out with Sonic Superstars. And Sonic Superstars, well, what is it? Well, it's a new take on 2D Sonic, featuring the iconic characters, Sonic of course, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy Rose. You get some new Emerald powers, and as it says here, it is an all-new take on the classic 2D Sonic high-speed action platforming. And so yeah, it's just a small little Sonic game, and I think if you just want an iconic franchise but some new ideas while having that nostalgic take on it, and that classic take, something that's not too big but uses big characters, definitely check this out. If this is fun, I will definitely pick it up. It is coming in fall 2023. Moving on, let's talk about Lies of P. So Lies of P was revealed quite a while ago. It was revealed during May 2021. And now, 2 years later, it has a release date and a demo. I played the demo myself, and I did have some fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this game ends up playing out. Now, what is Lies of P? Well, if you like Souls games, you will definitely like Lies of P, because it is basically that. And the theme here is Pinocchio. So you play as a humanoid Pinocchio and you go through the city of Krat. And the enemies, they're like, biomechanical. And you use an arsenal of weapons. You can use a sword or an axe. And you have a mechanical arm that can have gadgets attached to it. It's very fun. You should definitely check it out. The demo is on Steam. I think it's also on Xbox. Yes, like I said about it being a Souls-like, it does get compared a lot to Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I think more specifically Bloodborne. I think Bloodborne would be a much better comparison because the gameplay is a lot more similar to Bloodborne than in Dark Souls. But yes, Lies of P looks great, plays great, can't wait to see how it plays out. Now let's talk about Palworld, also known as Pokemon with Guns. I mean, yeah, that is practically what everyone is calling it, and it makes sense why. But unironically, this game does look like a lot of fun. Looks like it's a new experience, and Pokemon games, obviously, they only exist on the Nintendo systems, but now you get to play it on, Steam, Xbox, a Pokemon-like game. And I'm really curious to see how this actually folds out, because, it is a crazy idea that you would think is just some sort of fan-made game, but no, this is a real game that is coming early in 2024, in early access. So I would say, you want something that's going to make you laugh? I think Palworld's going to do it for you, even if it's not really their goal here. So yeah, Palworld, I definitely need to check this one out, and I would like you to keep an eye on it as well. Let's talk about a game that I think looks really fun, and could actually be a surprise in the video game industry, in terms of a game that people didn't really expect too much, but they end up really liking. Similar to Hi-Fi Rush. Not this game in particular, but in the sense of how it surprises people. So, Banishers Ghosts of New Eden. This is an action RPG developed and published by Focus Entertainment, and in this game, well, it's ghost hunting. A story-driven ghost hunting game. You play as both Antea and Red, and you have these supernatural forces with, magic, weapons, spiritual powers. You unlock new gear and abilities, so you can get full power. You can uncover some secrets in this, what they call a mystical, lore-rich world. And, in this game, if you like games where you have to make decisions, and those decisions can decide the fate of characters or heavily affect the story, this game's going to have it. It says that they make meaningful and morally ambiguous choices that affect the story, the world, and the fate of all characters, dead or alive. The gameplay looks really fun with its combat and how fast it can get. Visuals look nice, and it's coming in 2023 to PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. So yeah, I hope this is good. Alright, Spider-Man time. Spider-Man has been a huge topic recently with the release of Across the Spider-Verse, amazing movie, you should definitely go watch it, and the upcoming Marvel Spider-Man 2. So in the Sony State of Play, the trailer was revealed, the first ever gameplay for the game, and as I've talked about before, and many others as well, it looks absolutely insane. And in the Summer Games Fest, they came back to talk about it again. Now there's no original trailer or gameplay, but very important details about this game were revealed. First and foremost, the release date. This game is coming in October 20th, 2023. The other thing is about Venom. So we know that Spider-Man uses the symbiote and does have some, powers that Venom would have. But there's another thing that was mentioned, and that Venom is not going to be Eddie Brock. In case you don't know, Eddie Brock is in the comics and the movies, like he is Venom. And the reason why they're doing this is because they want to make their own original story. So even if it does get inspired by the comics, they're trying to make their own thing. So now this brings up the question, who is Venom in the Spider-Man game? That's a big question to think about if you are into the story of Spider-Man. So I can't wait to see who it is in October this year. Like a dragon, Gaiden, the man who erased his name. The Yakuza franchise is known to be very underrated, but it has been increasingly growing in popularity, which is great. If you have not played any of these games, I recommend you do. So, in this spin-off, you play as Kazuma Kiryu, I'm sure you have heard of that character before, where he operates under the codename Joryu. So, what did he do? He faked his own death and abandoned his name for the sake of protecting his family. And so now, that basically draws to all the conflict that goes on in the story, trying to stay hidden, and of course, because this is a Yakuza game, it's gonna have a lot of funny moments probably, while having emotional moments of course. Remember, the Yakuza games have a lot of content in them, even if the main story is not the longest, aside from Like a Dragon, because that is a JRPG, but as long as you stick around after finishing the main story, there will be plenty to do. This game has been revealed a while ago, but now it has its own gameplay reveal, and it will come out November 9th of this year. So I said in my last video that I won't be talking about Final Fantasy 16 for a while after that video. So I could talk about Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Yup, the big one of the whole show. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, the sequel to Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Integrate. It looks incredible. What can I say? So, as far as the story goes, this does take place when they actually leave Midgar, and it's going to explore this new vast world. And this isn't the first trailer they dropped, but it is a big one. They show gameplay, they show a lot of the playable characters, so Yuffie will be joining Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, and Barret, and Red 13 is going to be a playable character. If you did not know this, if you played the original but not the remake, Red 13 was actually not a playable character in 7 Remake, but he was, he was like a side character, he assisted them. And it's just everything about this game so far. It just makes me want to get a PS5. Like I said in my last video, I don't have a PS5, but these games, I swear, they're making me get a PS5. And the story, the voice acting looks incredible. The people behind the game are saying that you don't need to play the first game, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I think is interesting. I think you should play it regardless. But yes, and they also said that there will be new stories added to this game that weren't really in the original, as they're going to dive more deeper into the lore of Final Fantasy VII. The UI looks amazing, the graphics look amazing. I would love for this game to go on PC one day, but it will probably be a while before that happens. But yes, if you have a PS5, if you love JRPGs, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This game is going to be a huge deal in the video game industry, in case it already isn't, but let's be honest, it is. And that will do it for this video. So let me know how you felt about the Summer Games Fest. You loved it? You didn't love it? What were your favorite announcements? What were you hoping to see? And what were you excited to see in the presentation? My favorite announcement was definitely Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But let me know yours. That's all for now, and I'll see you next time.